Hello, everyone. This is Thomas Heimann, host of the Real Estate What's Next podcast, how to succeed in as our industry transforms. And I'm trying something totally new this time. I decided to record this episode both as a video as well as a podcast, and this is a live video. And the question I really want to ponder today is, as we're undergoing this transformation, which real estate business models are going to survive and thrive? And as part of this, I'm going to share with you the vision of my company, Realty Partners, for the future and kind of give you like a 30,000-foot game plan as we reinvent ourselves and what you could possibly learn from this. So this is going to be of interest to anyone in the real estate industry as a manager, broker, owner, real estate agent, team leader, professional. So when we look at the real estate industry in really simplified terms from a 30,000-foot view, there are really two camps. The first one is the consumer-centric business model corner, and then on the other side, you have the agent-centric business corner model. And on the consumer-centric side, the consumer, the buyer or seller, is the customer of the organization, and everything revolves around the consumer. Whereas on the agent-centric side, the real estate agent is the customer of the business, and everything revolves around the agent-centric model. And on the agent-centric side, you could actually look at two categories of businesses. You would have businesses that are real estate brokerages that are totally agent-centric and are looking for ways to create more value for the agents. And then you also have non-brokerage business models that are looking to create value for the agents as a supplier, vendor, providing services, lead generation, other things, technology that would help an agent. On the consumer side, obviously, you have brokerages and non-brokerage businesses alike, although in the last couple of years, we've seen the long-held fear of the real estate industry come to bear that those business models would basically transform and morph into a brokerage business model. And so if you look at Zillow, for example, as a perfect example, they used to be focused totally on providing consumers with access to information. They were also selling things to real estate agents such as leads, but they were never going to become a broker. And now, of course, they are a broker, and they are moving more and more into that space as a direct provider for the consumer. And currently they're still partnering with agents, and they're trying to provide value for agents, but the writing is on the wall. It's very possible that Zillow at some point might just unhinge from that or pursue a different kind of business model. When you look at the consumer side today, this is really where probably 90% of the innovation is taking place, and 90% of the venture capital is flowing into this space. And when you look at these prop tech or property technology companies that are on the news, almost all of them, not all of them, but the vast majority of them fit into the consumer-centric side. So to mind come, for example, companies like Redfin, which has a employee business model. So their customers are not independent contractor agents. Their customer is the consumer. You have these iBuyer programs that have sprung up. You have Zillow, which is focusing more and more onto the consumer side. And I'm sure you've seen their TV advertising campaign that has rolled out very aggressively in key markets to focus and target on sellers as well as buyers as well as renters. So those are the three categories that they're focusing on. And there are other companies that pursue employee business models. So when you have a business that is totally consumer focused, where you focus on providing value to the buyer and seller as an organization, as a brokerage, then the question becomes, okay, what is the function really of and the role of that real estate professional? So if we look at Redfin, for example, the Redfin agent is not the one that is driving the business for Redfin. Now, sure, they're going to do a fantastic job. They're going to get referrals, but those referrals are going to go to Redfin primarily. And but it's the organization, Redfin, that is deciding on the experience for their consumer, for the customer, the services that they provide, how they provide it, how it's going to be delivered. And the real estate professional, the agent, the team that they have working with the consumer is an employee and is executing on the Redfin business model, which is in stark contrast to your typical real estate brokerage where the agent is an independent contractor and where the agent is responsible for generating the business and the agent is responsible for servicing those customers. Now, there may be some support services provided by the organization, but by and large, it's the agent. And if you were to work with, 5 different Coldwell Banker agents or 5 different Remax agents or 5 different Exit or KW agents, you're going to get a very different experience as opposed to working with 5 different Redfin agents, for example, where the experience is going to be the same. So you have these consumer side business models. And then on the agent centric side right now, you obviously have brokers that are providing or focusing on providing maximum value to their agents in terms of saving them money on their commission splits. And you have 100% plans that charge a fee per transaction. You have traditional split plans. You have some support services such as technology, IDX websites, CRMs, marketing support, lead generation for a fee, and so forth. But at a core, it's a business model that revolves around, hey, agent, come and hang your license with us. And we're going to save you money and we're going to provide you with some solutions, which again is going to save you money. If I'm going to provide you with a $1,000 a month IDX solution for free, then that's obviously providing value and saving the agent money. And when you look at any of the brokerage models out there right now that are not consumer focused, either team models or employee business models, they all really fall into that category where they're competing with each other in terms of, okay, we are providing better value for you to do your business. We're going to save you some money. And Realty Partners also fell into that category where we're focused on 2 things really. Number one, how can we provide ownership to the agents for the first time? But number two, how can we provide massive value? How can we provide technology solutions that are not available for most agents or affordable as part of the package? Now, as we move forward, and this is really the point of this talk and conversation, I think you're going to see some dramatic changes within the real estate industry. For starters, I think you're going to find that there's going to be a dramatic reduction in the number of agents in the years to come. So there really is not the need for 1.3, 1.4 million realtor agents. And when you talk to top producers, they would be much rather in a situation where there might be only 20% of those agents, but the NAR dues would be 5 times as much, but it's a higher quality type of industry association and environment as opposed to right now with 1.3 something million realtor agents, most of which are not very productive. So as number one, margins are going to be reduced on a per transaction basis, and the need for technology increases for agents to do more transactions supported by AI and technology, there's going to be a fallout of those part-time agents and agents that are not producing very much, because again, there is no need for that many agents to handle the transaction volume that's there. And agents that are productive will be able to get more done through the support of technology. And so what's that going to mean? That's going to mean that a lot of the companies that are out there right now just raking up massive numbers of agents, of which most are not very productive, are going to find that a lot of those agents are going to fall by the wayside. And those agents that are actually producing and are looking to grow their business, looking to break through that ceiling that they're hitting looking to build a team, looking to build an organization, looking to build a real business, are going to look for alternative solutions if they are available. And so I think what's going to happen both on the consumer side and on the agent-centric side, so with respect to both of those business models, you will see the movement towards a platform play. And so what do I mean by that? A platform play to me means that the company is not just a facilitator of a transaction, but actually becomes a platform upon which the entire value chain, the entire transaction chain, the entire industry basically operates. So on the consumer side, that would be a company that will cover everything from the initial search to identifying the homes, watching the homes, providing warranties, providing the financing on the transaction, providing the settlement services, escrow services, providing home warranty services, insurance services, and providing post-closing, post-transaction additional services to maintain that customer relationship, because this company is consumer-centric and consumer-focused. And so you want to maintain that customer relationship beyond closing, maybe provide security services, pool services, home maintenance services, pest control, et cetera, to maintain that relationship. So when it's time for that consumer to make a move again, then you're already there. And with respect to those business models, the real estate commission itself could become completely irrelevant. In other words, these companies could operate on a premise that we're not looking to make money on the real estate commission in a traditional sense, because we're looking at the big picture, the entire value chain. So for example, if Amazon were to decide to get into the real estate space, then, and there's a number of ways they can do that. They could acquire Zillow, for example, or any other player. But if Amazon were to decide to get into the space, what's most valuable to them is basically having their foot in the door, in the house, being able to anticipate the consumer's every needs, not just related to the home purchase, but anything that they may need, getting them the toilet paper before the consumer realizes that they're running out, groceries, et cetera. So that consumer connection and the data points that are being collected, and there are literally tens of thousands of data points in the home, is going to be a lot more valuable than having one real estate commission every 10 years. So maintaining that customer relationship is going to be key. So with respect to the consumer-centric business models, that is what you're going to see. And you're beginning to see that at some level already. So Redfin, for example, has not highly publicized, but they have their own mortgage company, they have their own title company. They're looking at other auxiliary services because they understand they want to maintain that customer connection. The same thing is true for Zillow, and there will be others to follow suit as well. Compass is a little bit of an enigma. Are they agent-centric? Are they consumer-centric? Their goal really is to be a platform play and provide the platform for the entire real estate transaction from start to finish to operate on. And I guess it's going to be agent supported. How that's exactly going to look like, nobody knows yet. There's a lot of speculation. So with Compass, I would put a big question mark. Are they consumer side? Are they going to be agent centric? Ultimately, we will see. On the agent centric side, what I envision and what I'm really working on to transition Realty Partners into is a platform for the real estate agent's business. So in other words, instead of you have the platform that deals with the real estate transaction itself, revolving around the consumer, providing them with everything that they could need. My focus is on the other side, on the agent-centric side, creating a platform that supports the entire business for the agent. I think this is the second opportunity, or the big opportunity for agent-centric business models. And a lot of brokerages are going to have a very difficult time to transform themselves into that role. And it goes beyond providing a CRM and a website. So What I'm looking at is providing complete business management services. When you have a successful agent, providing them with admin support, with accounting, with bookkeeping, with marketing, with collaterals, with creative, with data entry, with closing coordination, with listing coordination, with transaction coordination, basically freeing the person up completely to only focus on their sales, on generating business, and servicing the customer and taking care of everything else for that agent and freeing that agent up. And in essence, imagine if you had a high performance, super team, mega team that has, a lot of admin people supporting every aspect of the business to provide that kind of power as a platform to the agent, even to an individual agent that is reasonably successful, let's say does 20, 30 plus transactions per year. The only company that I'm aware of right now that is pursuing that type of path is Side Inc., and you're welcome to take a look at them. Now, Side is very hyper focused on the top agents. I believe their agents' average production is about $28-30 million per year. So that gives you an idea on what they're focusing on. With respect to Realty Partners, my focus is going to be on, like I said, 20, 30 plus transactions, all the way up to mega teams. And I'm really looking at Realty Partners from three perspectives. The first one is to have a platform that supports the entire business process. Number two, to integrate auxiliary profit centers such as title, lending, and insurance. Not so much to build a consumer-centric platform because we're not consumer-centric, but really to create the convenience to the consumer, but capture the significant income and revenue stream and do it in a way where we provide ownership to our agents in a way that the agents can legally profit from those auxiliary service centers, which again is something that's going to be very attractive to successful agents. So that's my view with respect to Realty Partners, and I think there's a lot of opportunity for this. So I don't have the belief of scarcity. Oh my God, don't tell anyone what you're doing because somebody else might copy it. More power to it. There's a lot of real estate professionals out there right now. Let's say if we look into the future and we go from 1.3 million down to, let's say, 300,000 agents, of which maybe 100,000 are employed as employees by consumer-centric employee business models, and 200,000 are working on their own business as self-employed, independent contractors, their own organization. I think that 200,000 is a significant market opportunity to focus on. And it's a huge departure from just providing a place where the agent can hang their license and saving them money and providing them with a CRM or a lead generation service. So this really goes beyond that, focusing on supporting the entire business of that agent from A to Z, from start to finish. I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are with respect to where you see the future of the real estate industry. My focus had always been technology driven, and what's technology going to do? Right now, obviously, we're dealing also with COVID, so there's that secondary impact of consumer behavior is changing, which again, a lot of that will be met through technology. And as that happens, what does it mean to the real estate industry? Now, if you're a real estate professional, you're really going to have to think about how can I compete and be competitive and succeed in this new reality that's not going to be 10 years from now, but probably 2 to 3 years from now. And I think if you are not inclined to be an entrepreneur and build your own organization, then possibly working with a bona fide high volume team might be an alternative. Or you really will have to look at, okay, how can I compete with the top of mind providers in my marketplace? How can I do an even better job? How can I embrace technology at the highest level possible? You're going to have to be very, very proactive to learn what's going on in the industry with respect to technology. You're going to have to, once they're open again, go to industry conferences. Now, Inman's next event is going to be online, so I highly recommend that because there's so much new stuff that is being developed right now. And a lot of these things are new business models that you might think are a threat to you because they're looking to do away with the traditional real estate agent. But to me, there's a tremendous opportunity to pay attention, to learn, and then ask yourself, this is actually a fantastic idea. How can I implement that in my business? And how can I make this work? And maybe think about creating partnerships. So if you're not going to have the opportunity to join a company that is truly providing a platform for your business and support you at the highest level, and it really doesn't make sense for you to do it yourself, to go out and hire half a dozen people and supervise them and train them and so forth, maybe an alternative for productive agents might be to form your own group or partnership where 4 or 5 equally successful agents band together, either form their own brokerage or find a legal structure for their group to operate and share expenses and share profits and build something that is going to have survivability, not just in terms of competing with what's out there, but also you got to think in terms of exit strategy. So, the Jeff Smith team is never going to have a valid exit strategy. The Sunshine Leaders team that is not branded to one person, on the other hand, could present an exit strategy. So I hope you get something out of this. Again, let me know what your thoughts are and post them to the comments here. I'm going to also put this on my YouTube channel here shortly, and you can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/Thomas Heimann. And of course, the Real Estate What's Next podcast is available pretty much everywhere. So you can find it on iTunes and Spotify, on Anchor, on Google Podcasts, and so forth. So I'd love you to subscribe and stay informed as I'm sharing my thoughts about real estate, what's next, and how to succeed as our industry transforms. Thank you so much again. I'm Thomas Heimann, host of the Real Estate What's Next podcast. Until next time, thank you for joining me here.